Walter White didn't just break bad, he shattered every limitation society had placed on him. On the surface, he was a brilliant but beaten-down high school chemistry teacher, underpaid, overlooked, disrespected. But underneath that dull exterior was a mind capable of building empires. What changed wasn't just his situation, it was his mindset. When Walter became Heisenberg, he stopped thinking like a victim. He started thinking like a creator, like a strategist, like a king. This video is not about glorifying crime. It's about understanding the psychology of power, the transformation of a man who went from powerless to unstoppable, and how, with ethical intent, you can apply the same mental principles to build wealth, gain influence, and take control of your life. First, let's break down Walter's original flaw: submissiveness. He was a genius living small. He settled. He believed others controlled his fate, his boss, his bills, his illness. He accepted less because he thought he deserved less. This is the first shift we learn from Heisenberg. Stop thinking like an employee. Start thinking like an owner. When Walter created Blue Meth, it wasn't just a product. It was his creation, his formula, his intellectual property. He wasn't working for someone, he was building something. The same applies to entrepreneurship. The wealthiest people don't trade time for money. They build assets, systems, scalable models. Like Walter's formula, once it's created, it works while you sleep. Now ask yourself, are you living like Walter White or thinking like Heisenberg? The second transformation was in identity. Walter didn't just change his name, he changed his story. Your identity dictates your destiny. Walter was a man dying of cancer. Heisenberg was a man who refused to die before making his mark. When he said, "I am the one who knocks," he wasn't being arrogant. He was declaring his power to choose. That level of self-belief is rare, and it's the bedrock of confidence. In business, this mindset is gold. People who achieve extraordinary things often begin with one irrational belief: that they can. When Steve Jobs launched Apple, when Elon Musk built Tesla, when Jeff Bezos left his Wall Street job to sell books online, these weren't safe moves. They were driven by inner certainty, not outside validation. The world bends to those who bend reality. Heisenberg did just that. Another key principle we learn from him is calculated risk-taking. Walter didn't step into chaos blindly. He assessed the variables like a scientist, measured every move, took control where he could, and when he couldn't, he created leverage. Whether it was using science to destroy a drug lab, manipulate cartel politics, or orchestrate jailhouse executions, his decisions weren't reckless. They were precise. The business world demands the same. Risk is unavoidable. But the most successful people don't eliminate risk. They learn to manage it. They make data-driven decisions. They understand human behavior. They don't panic in pressure. They perform. Heisenberg's composure under fire teaches a brutal truth: the calmest mind wins. In negotiations, in boardrooms, in life. But here's where things get darker and more instructional. Walter's rise wasn't just about intelligence, it was about control. He didn't want money for comfort. He wanted money for power. Every deal, every lie, every death served one core need: dominance. While his methods were immoral, the psychological drive is common among real-world leaders. Power isn't evil, it's neutral. It magnifies what's already inside you. If you're generous, it lets you give more. If you're driven, it helps you build more. If you're insecure, it helps you hide it. Walter's obsession with power teaches us a vital lesson. Money follows those who seek control, not comfort. Too many people chase money hoping it will solve their problems. But true wealth builders don't chase. It's a byproduct of the systems they control. You don't become rich by hoping someone pays you more. You get rich by creating something the world cannot ignore. Heisenberg made the world need his product. That's monopoly thinking. And it's the same principle used by the wealthiest people on Earth. Elon Musk didn't build the best car, he built a movement. Steve Jobs didn't just sell tech, he sold identity. Warren Buffett doesn't pick stocks, he owns systems. In each case, wealth wasn't the target, it was the result of influence and control. But let's not ignore the warnings. Walter lost his family, his soul, his life, because his ambition became ego. The line between power and obsession blurred. And the same can happen in real life when success becomes your god. That's why the lesson isn't to think exactly like Heisenberg, but to extract his mental blueprints and apply them ethically. Here's how. 1. Think like a chemist. Break life into formulas. Test, learn, iterate. Whether it's a business model, a relationship, or a habit, treat it like a scientific process. Strip away emotion. Focus on results. Track what works. Double down on it. 2. Build something only you can create. Heisenberg's meth wasn't special because it was illegal. It was special because it was pure, distinct, masterfully made. In your life, that might be a product, a brand, or a service. But it must have your signature. That's how you become irreplaceable. 3. Burn the victim mentality. Heisenberg didn't wait for permission. He created opportunity under pressure. The most successful people don't blame the system. They hack it. Not illegally, but intelligently. Through leverage, insight, and bold action. 4. Play long-term games. Walter got rich fast, but it came at a price. Real wealth comes from patience, from equity, from assets that appreciate. Think like a chess player, not a gambler. 5. Control your inner darkness. Every great mind has a shadow. The goal isn't to deny it, it's to harness it. Heisenberg let it consume him. But when you channel ambition through purpose, you build something that lasts, something that serves. Walter White teaches us that anyone can become powerful. But not everyone is prepared for that power. That's why your values must grow as fast as your wealth. Because ultimately, your greatest asset isn't your intelligence, it's your identity. Are you the one who knocks or the one who waits? This is the real transformation, not into a criminal, but into someone who takes full responsibility for their life, their outcomes, their destiny. Walter White became Heisenberg because he was tired of being small. So ask yourself, what part of you is still playing small? And more importantly, what would happen if you let it die?